Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and or podcast. This is kind of impromptu, and oh my gosh, if I only had $1 every time I said that. But no, sometimes I kind of come to the table with like a clear idea and notes and everything of what I want the topic to be about or the topics that are discussed. And other times it's more kind of like just like a spur of the moment thing, like I gotta get this off my chest, or I might have a message that might help somebody. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I had the previous episode rather, I had a set idea of a few of the upcoming episodes and was researching and taking notes, and then the information that I received kind of was like a bombshell. Like it just kind of blindsided me. Like I wasn't really expecting to hear what I heard. And it's actually gotten even crazier since then. It's been about a week, again, speaking to other former members of this community, and I'm probably going to have to, just because of what is going on now at this point, take a break from delving into kind of like the specifics of what happened. And that is just because obviously if you know anything about investigations, like if you have like a private investigator, if there's any kind of legal anything going on, you can't speak much on it at all. And since, realizing kind of like the severity of the situation, it's imperative that, things start moving a little bit more quickly. And what I mean by that is, it's one thing to have fear for your online safety and cybersecurity, right? But it's quite another to have just overall general fear. And the more I'm speaking with other people who have left this community and have been negatively impacted by it, the more I realize the rabbit hole goes so deep. The level of dysfunction is like on the one hand, it is kind of like, you just want to sip some tea and sit back and, kiki and, discuss all like the weird, unusual events that occurred. And then at some point, listening to these people, you hear it's like, that's kind of messed up. So again, just hearing a lot of stuff that I can't really go into specifics right now. Eventually, one day I will be able to, but as of right now I can't. I just want to say that unfortunately it's just really a shame what happened. Like, I'm feeling so many different emotions, like confusion, shock, frustration, disappointment, anger, betrayal, like so many different things that I'm still processing. Like, we're all processing. But I think unfortunately what has happened is there were some people who, again, it was more so kind of like an on the line thing. And then there were others who were made to feel, for whatever reason, based on their experience, legitimate fear for their personal safety. And the more I think about it, just the more disgusted I get. I'm like, how selfish and how much compassion can you lack, especially at a time like this, where collectively as society we're all experiencing so much. And again, I will definitely be going into specifics more later, But the next few episodes that I'm going to be doing on my YouTube channel and my podcast is going to be more so specifics and step-by-step instructions on what you should do, and advice on, do's and don'ts of if you're dealing with cybercrimes being committed against you. It's not very easy, and every case is different and individual, and this is all a new experience, for me. This is a new arena for me, so I'm learning more each day. For example, as far as IP addresses go, that is not necessarily something that might be shared with you if, there is an investigation going on with what's happening with you. However, if, the private investigators, when they obtain that information, they, share it with law enforcement or what have you. And in either way, it's still a very key element and very helpful. But, yeah, just little things like that. So I think what would be most helpful right now, and in addition to kind of sharing a little bit more about cults, but again, just having spoken with people, hearing their stories and what they've experienced, like even more severe than me, just on so many levels. Like, I'm so torn. And I know people who may not be members of online communities may not kind of like understand kind of like the closeness and the bond that you might make, like connections with people from it. You may become friends that start to visit each other in unquote real life, or you may have phone conversations. And as I mentioned, and I think like the first or second episode, sometimes you feel a kinship with these people even more so than people from your everyday life, coworkers or family members, roommates, whatever, sometimes even significant other, because of the shared and common interest. But again, the more I'm researching like sociology, mainly cults and unhealthy online communities, is that people can either bring out the best in one another or bring out the worst in one another. And it's very hard not to directly address my former cult leaders in the way that I really would like to. Advice from quite a few people, but that's okay because they will hear eventually from quite a few of us how we feel about what's been happening. And this isn't like a little vindictive kind of like tit for tat type thing. This is something that has become so strange and just ugly and scary and unfortunate. And it's definitely a power struggle, like a power dynamic. Like, you have some people who feel that their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts are far superior to others and will treat other people in any manner to make themselves feel better. And this is going to be probably one of the last, like I said, episodes I do even speaking on this because of things that are now falling into place. So it's good, but it's bad. And just kind of, again, wielding that power, like trying to get a video taken down or whatever, saying that it's defamation or lies or whatever when nothing spoken was a lie. Again, just trying to further control, like cyberbully, like intimidate people, control people. Like, what started out as kind of like, okay, we have a group of people around us who help protect us and help us feel more safe and secure online, and will help, inform us if there's, other people we should be wary about or any suspicious information or whatever. It's now just turned into this kind of neurotic kind of control game, like just trying to control people. Like, at this point, like, it's like, why? Like, just stop and think for a minute about what you're doing And this is probably going to be one of the last times I directly address my former cult leaders, because it's so funny how, again, never mentioned their name, never sent this video to them. Somehow they were made aware of it, seem to know it's about them. I don't know. I mean, hey, maybe there's a reason for that. Yeah. Guilty conscience, maybe. But anyway, like, it's not even like trying to be like bitchy or diss somebody, but just facts, like just keeping it real. All the friends that I've made from that community aren't there anymore for one reason or another. That's just me speaking, like, and I have First Amendment rights. I have free speech. I mean, I know some people don't like to hear other people expressing their opinions and their experiences, but it's kind of a God-given right, especially in this country. And I see that the people that are still in that community, not all of them, again, because I don't know all of them, that would be very unfair to say all of them, but a lot of them, it's like the ugly behavior, the like excessive, just the actions. It's like, are you happy with yourself? Like, are you okay when you go to bed at night knowing that you're hopping on other people's just social medias just to spy on them, just to see what they're doing? For what? I mean, I don't think you have any genuine, sincere fear of them. And this goes to the cult leaders and their moderators. Like, what is really the end goal here? What's the end game? Like, why is it okay to speak in a language to people, or to kind of make mention of certain things that involve people's privacy or safety, or speak it in a manner like that, you know, someone feels threatened and you just don't care? You know, someone who's been nothing but loyal to you. It's like, it's such a shame. And it's just such a dysfunctional community now. It's like, if you can't see that the people now who are closest to you are people who just kind of treat most other people very disrespectfully, and, you know, make other people just cast suspicion on other people, for what? To kind of feed to your need to feel like you are being alerted of something. Does it make you feel safer? Because really, honestly, this person, the main moderator that's been discussed, that many people have had issues with, the behavior is so disturbing. This person literally is like unpredictable in a scary way. And we live in a world right now where there's so many people who have been victims of crimes and stuff, who just saw many red flags and alarms and bells and whistles that I'm sure they, looking back, wish they had not chosen to ignore. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I'm not even trying to be catty. I'm being dead ass serious right now. Your behavior is so manic and so erratic and over the top and invasive and worrisome, and is causing people such anxiety and stress that literally your mental stability is being questioned. Like, we don't know what you would do if you think it's okay to invade other people's online privacy like this. I would find it kind of shocking and surprising that you would, you know, be surprised to hear that you have people concerned for their safety, period. Just, it's like no one asked for that. And yeah, like, there are public service announcements we could make together and this and that, but it's not even about that. This isn't even about trying to like wreak havoc in a community even though we know it's dysfunctional. Like, it's gotten to a point where it's worrisome, like the stalking and like the it's just really, really, it's unfortunate. And it's so unfortunate that people involved are like so deep into it, they don't even see it. Either they don't see it or they don't care. There are people in your online community who have provided you with their personal private information, and you have people being so overbearing and invasive to people online who are aware of that you have them worried that things might happen to them offline. And to even try to say that that is an irrational concern would just be complete denial and just not taking any kind of responsibility. You know in your heart of heart what you're doing is excessive. You know if someone did it to you, you would not be able to sleep at night. And to think it's okay to do that to people, and to feel that just because you know that you have more wealth than most of the people in your community, you're confident that if anybody dares speak up for themselves or try to mention something to someone else, you can threaten them with a lawsuit or whatever other means of intimidation, things that you've said that I can't even mention here right now, but eventually many people will probably know. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting. And the worst part of this isn't even how you guys pretended to be like this love and light, positivity, community of love and kindness. Even when you had your podcast, speaking to people in your community about, self-love and showing respect and kindness to others, and how you just do the exact opposite. I mean, calling you guys hypocrites would be polite at this point. So, done with addressing former cult leaders. Again, I'm going to be focusing in the next couple of videos more so about, I'm still going to be doing the Rose McGowan thing, but I also very, very importantly want to kind of continue to clearly lay out steps that you can do. Whether it's like, looking for a private investigator, finding a private investigator, like suggesting different private investigators and law enforcement agencies and all that, because that is a very, very important part of this, clearly. There are people, as I've found out, and I realize not even just like in the community that I was dealing with, but there are people who dealing with cyber stalking even worse than any of us. And again, just the little bit that I've experienced of it just makes me so empathetic towards anybody who's experiencing it, even on a more grand scale. It's just really unfortunate, and just people's true colors like really start to show me them. They really do. And again, actions speak louder than words. Again, I have to say, if you feel like you need to have this kind of system in order just to put your mind at ease, this helps you sleep better at night, then that's a problem. Other people should not have to have their privacy invaded just to make you feel safer and secure. Like, there's no golden rule here. There's no treating others the way you'd want to be treated. There's no empathy. There's no putting yourself in another person's position. There's no accountability. There just isn't. And it's like, it's not even like it's just people who have left the community or somebody who have said something suspicious that may have made someone fear, oh, are they connected to any doxers or it has nothing to do with that. It's just gotten to the point where it's almost like just this narcissist ego thing where it's just like, oh, well, I see you're following someone we don't like, so you deserve to be cyberstalked. We're going to follow you around your other social media. For what reason? I have no idea. It's not like you're afraid that that person is going to dox you. And apparently, since you know you have such money and power and connections to powerful private investigators and lawyers, I mean, I really don't think it's a fear for your safety anymore. So again, like, what is your justification of these actions? I mean, clearly you don't care. You don't care. You don't care about the people that you've cyberstalked. You don't care about the people you've said hurtful things to or about. You don't care. And to just try to come across as these people who do, it's really, it makes me gag. It's nauseating. And I used to wonder, like, was there something that happened that caused you guys to change? But now that the blackmail and doxing is even in question, because again, the dysfunction and dishonesty in the community, I'm just assuming that y'all were always like this. It's like, look, yeah, we all want money. Yeah, a little bit of fame is nice too. But if you can't deal with the all, like, everything, the all encompassing, like, whole of what's going on, if you feel that you have to break laws to make yourself feel better, then maybe you might want to second guess doing this, because it's getting to a point now where, for your sake almost even, and I still can't even believe I have this much empathy toward people who clearly don't know what the meaning of empathy is, like, it's just alarming and it's frightening. We live in a world right now where an engaged couple go on a cross-country trip and only one of them returns. And then the body of the other one is found. And the person of interest just so happens to be apparently recently spotted in the same county I live in, but that's a different story for a different day. My point is, there's a lot of love and kindness, genuine love and kindness in the world, but there's also people who are very, very irrational, and their motives are very questionable. And it's like, when people have exhibited the behaviors that have been exhibited by these people, cult leaders and the moderators, I'm not saying all of them, but mainly certain ones, and one in particular, the fact that they don't care how they're treating people or how the people they have treated this way feel. Again, you know, first time I heard some of these concerns, I'm like, oh, that's a little far-fetched. You don't need to worry about that. I mean, you know, but you can't say that, you can't do that, because again, people who have dealt with things, like, there's always alarms and red flags and signs. And to just say that this behavior that people are experiencing is alarming is like the understatement of the year, putting it very mildly. So again, this is going to be the last video / episode of this sort for now. And I'll have to be very, very vague in the next couple of episodes. Maybe speak like little bits and pieces and updates, but nothing too in-depth, because again, for the reasons I mentioned previously. And no, it's not because I've been shamed or bullied or intimidated into silence, the way I'm sure my former cult leaders would love for me to be. It's for legal reasons. But yeah, still definitely have a passion to help other people out there who've experienced similar. And again, just my heart goes out to anybody who's experiencing what I've gone through and even worse. Again, if you can look around, you're okay with yourself and you sleep fine at night knowing that There are people out there whose privacy you're invading, people who wonder, like, okay, what are you going to do with this information you have about me? People who are your closest kind of confidants or cohorts or whatever, even though you keep secrets from them and try to manipulate them with a fake NDA. But that's a different story for a different day. The fact that you have like these attack dogs that you would probably cry yourself to sleep at night if someone was doing to you what you're doing and having done to other people. Just it's unfathomable, and I feel so bad, especially for one person in particular. It's not fair. It's not fair that a person should have to go through what they've went through and be in fear of going to law enforcement for whatever reason, whatever kind of threats they've overheard, threats they've heard directly or indirectly, or just fear that they can't take legal action because they know, even though they've done nothing wrong and they're not in the wrong, they're right, that because people have access to money, they feel intimidated. They'll have like a better legal team. And it's just, these clearly are not the people that we thought they were. And again, this isn't about trying to drag someone or slander their name. No name calling. This is just people expressing what they've been through, and they have the right to do so. So as far as interviews from other people who have been within this community, that'll probably have to be pushed back and held off into season 2. But don't worry, they're coming. Just have to do things, safely and responsibly. I will have interviews from one person who was raised in a cult. That'll be coming in the next couple episodes. And then, of course, also as well, I'm going to be breaking down step by step on ways you can protect yourself from cybercrimes. And if you've been a victim of cybercrimes, the next steps you can take. And some very, very helpful resources that I found, especially private investigators. But some websites, I'm going to also link so you can see resources in your state. If you're from a different country, I'll do a couple of episodes about that. India has a lot of amazing, wonderful cybercrime laws for victims. Yeah, so I think that's kind of it for now. I know this wasn't really like an exciting episode per se, like nothing kind of like, bombshell revelations or anything like funny, like the gaslighting. Still, that situation gets me to this day. I still can't believe it happened. But yeah, this is an environment that brings out the worst in people. I've spoken to so many people who just feel like they got to a point where the perks stopped outweighing the drawbacks. It's like, I don't like feeling like I have to walk on eggshells and can't freely express myself or speak my mind. I don't like feeling that a conversation that I have with someone else in the community could be shared with other people for malintent, or shared with the leaders of the community to try to like make someone look bad and build someone else up. Like, I'm sorry, but the main people that are, I guess, still there and associated closely with like the moderating team and the cult leaders are people who have treated other people very poorly. And again, that's the PG version of what I want to say. That's putting it mildly. And not that they care, because again, narcissists don't care. This is in no way trying to make someone come to realization of how harmful their actions are. That's not going to happen. No matter what happens, it's just probably not, at least not for a very long time. But it's my empathy for other people who have experienced what I've experienced and worse. It's not fun to, because you've been phished so much, have to fear if you're having issues logging into your online banking. Okay, is this just a glitch with the website? Or are these people trying to hack into that? It's not fun. Not a fun feeling at all. So, yeah, power in numbers. There are people coming together and just realizing we're not going to stand for this anymore. Point blank, period. Alright, that's it for now, guys. Have a good night.